I thought maybe we were an exception. I thought maybe this love had no pressure. I thought maybe we could beat the storm, but now it's here and I'm over there. But you want me still? Like what? No. Rip out your heart.
Yo, yo,
and lock
yo,
it away.
it is Boy with a Heart coming at you again with another podcast. I was thinking about my podcast, planning for the future episodes. How I do this is I basically just do it chronologically, and once I've shared one story, I move on to the next. There's not much planning, just like a name and a couple of key points that I try to hit during the podcast. So the point is, I forgot a couple of girls that I had been involved with in my past prior to the first episode of this podcast. So this one's going to take us back in time to when I was 12 and 13 years old. When I was 13 years old, I went to visit the Dominican Republic. It was actually a birthday present for me. And we had friends that lived there on a sabbatical. They had a couple of girls. And so I was close-ish to one of them in age. She was 11 or 12. And so we were always around each other. And it was never we were interested in each other. It was just like a play date type of thing. You know, you go over to someone's house when you're young and you just want to be around that person. You're not thinking about emotion. And so in her case, so she's so young, being with me was just a friend. And up until you get that certain age where hormones start kicking in, you don't feel things for other genders. And I was at the point where I wasn't sure. There was some times where I felt like maybe she was into me, but I also was experiencing new emotions myself. She always wanted to be around me, always wanted to be on my phone. There was this game called Talking Tom, and if any of you have younger siblings, you may have grown up with it, but it's basically a cat game that you feed, you play games with, and you just take care of on your phone. I was fine with it. She didn't have a phone. I thought it was kind of cute that we had that relationship where, you know, you're like my older brother now. I'm going to ask you for your phone. Can I use your phone? You know, I want to play my game. And then I would watch her play, and then we would talk. We went on a walk together, I think. We went to the beach together. We went and jumped down waterfalls together. All these things were not just us alone. It was with other people, her siblings, my dad, my sister. But it was just so unique because I wasn't being watched. I was with her and I could do and say whatever I wanted. For the first time, I felt like there was someone that actually valued me in that way, where I wasn't just my family. I was an individual and I like spending time with you. So there was nothing to come of this other than the day that I left, I gave her a gift. I left my shorts with her. My pajama shorts had little robots on them because she wanted them. She thought they were cute and she wanted to keep them. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give you my shorts to leave as a memory. And she kept them for years and wore them religiously for years. It was the first time I think that a guy had given her any clothing or any gift for that matter. And it was the first time I had given another girl or a person clothing as a gift in that way, not just for Christmas, right? It's a memory of your time together. It's something that you can physically use and recall those times that you shared, and it was meaningful to her. And I did it out of not just the kindness of my heart, but also because, I wanted her to know that she did make an impact on my life. And she moved back to America, and we saw each other in the future, but it wasn't like we were still those little kids anymore. We had grown up a bit, and the emotion that might have been shared between us when we were younger wasn't shared in the future. It's worth mentioning that we had communicated via email threads after I went back. So I did have her email, and I read those things, and boy, it sounds so cringy. Kids, teenagers, young teens, preteens, when iPhones were just starting to become a thing, oh my goodness. No one should have handed them phones because it's a way to broadcast how immature you are. You're not ready for something like that. Nowadays, people get phones when they're so much younger, but social media and society has helped age people to a maturity level in some ways and made them more mature in other ways sooner than later because of how much they're exposed to on these phones. And so I think that nowadays having a phone when you're younger, while it's not ideal, it's almost necessary in this world when you are not necessarily with your parents and you got to communicate to them, and everyone has a phone, right? So back when I was still growing up, when iPhones were just becoming a thing and I had one, she just had an email on her computer, so we would just email just for a couple weeks afterwards. Then it died away, and then I saw her again in the future, you know, years later and all that type of thing. But she kept those robot pants, and I think she still has them to this day. moving on to the next experience. Would have been when I was 13 and a half in the summertime. I had participated in this play that was put on by my church. It was a story of historical events that had happened. And there was this girl that was friends with my sister, but she was my age. We were both extras in the play. Because she was friends with my sister, she was always spending time with my sister when we were like at rehearsal and all that and waiting for our spot to join. So I would like be around her all the time because I'm around my sis. I realized I was kind of into her. I thought she was cute and she was kind of shy, quiet, not really shy. She was quiet, but then I could tell that there was this thing she wanted to say once you got to know her. And so I did spend time getting to know her. And basically, nothing came of it. In the future, 5 years later, I asked her out at a party one time. She was busy. That was that. We didn't communicate for those 5 years. Just hi when I saw her at events. I didn't really know where I was going with this. I just wanted to mention it. Falling in love with your sister's friend seems to be a common theme when you're younger. And last time, I was hiding in a closet while my sister and her best friend were talking about boys. We were over at her best friend's house and we snuck into the room, me and her friend's younger brother, and wanted to hear what the girls were up to, right? This was when I was maybe 11, even younger than this. And I just hid in the closet and came out laughing once they realized that we were there because they heard some noise. And then they were like, how could you? Because they were talking about boys. Well, this is just a episode, story time. Not much principles to learn, but you can definitely pull some things that when you don't know, have experiences with relationships, it's easy to fall into like with someone when they show you a bit of attention. The first girl, I didn't give her a name, and I don't think I need to, but robot shorts girl showed me attention and so caused me to kind of feel some strong emotions for her, especially when I was leaving. We bonded emotionally from that attention. And then the second girl, sister's friend, again, just experiencing girls for some of the first times, being around someone like that where you don't have parental supervision all the time. It causes you to feel a certain way. And then the third experience, if you don't want your sister to get mad at you, don't hide in her friend's closet and listen to her conversations and eavesdrop. Yeah, that's it. Peace.
Rip out your heart. Just please go away. Rip out your heart. 'Cause I've told you I'm done. Rip out your heart. Oh, I'm not your one. Rip out your heart. If your feelings aren't real, rip out your heart. I don't want you here. Rip out your heart. You're nice, but that's all. Rip out your heart. I wish you farewell.